All right, Mr. Taliaferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? Listen, there's not a story element to this. If you don't want to watch this video, it's fine. But I know people out there that love music, and especially R&B and hip-hop music. We talk a lot of hip-hop on my platform, and we talk the culture on my platform. And I'd be remiss to be a part of such a spectacle event and not show a little bit of respect and tell y'all about my experience, as over the weekend I did attend the Beyonce and JayZ On The Run tour. This is number 2 of them bad boys. I did experience that in Atlanta, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Listen, man, I just got to be honest with you guys. I got some takeaways. I'm not going to take too much of your time if you're watching this. Let's start with JayZ, and I'll get into Beyonce and her bag in a second. You know, when we talk rap, there are going to be artists who sell more records. As a matter of fact, I think Drake's going to end up selling more records than JayZ when it's all said and done. I believe Kendrick, if he puts out an album every year or so, if he keeps going well into his 40s, I believe he'll have an opportunity to sell more records than Jay, because they started earlier than Jay with putting out albums, right, in regards to age. There are going to be guys who put up bigger numbers on the board than even a JayZ one day. I know JayZ's got some phenomenal numbers, but the way Drake and Kendrick are on pace for, they're going to put up some crazy numbers that will combat Jay's numbers. But when you talk rap, this is my first time ever seeing JayZ or Beyonce live. When you talk rap, and when you listen to a man in front of thousands of people, the stadium was sold out. And you listen to a man get in front of that many amount of people, and you listen to these verses, and you just, as a fan, I'm just there as a fan, I'm thinking, yo, the stuff that Jay's saying, I'm talking about old stuff still remains current today, and the new stuff, this stuff is truth. Like, he's not rapping about a life that he has not lived. He's not rapping about a life that he does not live. He's rapping about his truth. He's talking about building and growing his businesses to what they've grown today and selling out stadiums. I'm talking about just lyrics that are real. And when you see him perform these records that you kind of listen to in the car sometimes, and you're like, yeah, that's Hov being Hov, talking that talk. But then you get him in front of him and realize, oh, this bitch is really sold out. They really did sell out the stadium. This is where the Super Bowl is going to be at, and Jay turned down that offer. That is real stuff. You realize, like, this ain't just a dude rapping to rap and sell records or to make money off this sport. This is a dude who uses music to tell his truth. It's always been that way. As a kid, we always look at Jay as somebody who people just don't tell the truth about, because people dick ride Hov. Let's just call it what it is. Like, it was tough to even take a New Yorker's perspective on Jay growing up. It was tough to take it serious because they never said anything bad about the man. I never heard any critiques. But when you get in front of him at a concert setting and listen to these lyrics and listen to how he doesn't waste bars, like, there are not a lot of pointless bars in Jay's music, man, I think it's going to be tough to say that this dude is not the greatest rapper of all time. He's got respect from the old to the current and the young. Like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of rappers who, again, maybe get down lyrically a little better than Hov. There are rappers in the new school that make better turn-up music than Hov. Maybe can make a better record. I'd argue that Kanye's catalog is better than Jay-Z's. That's just my opinion. But in regards to living your lyrics, and your lyrics make sense, and everybody in the crowd being able to understand, damn, that's real life. He ain't lying. He ain't wasting bars. I think Jay will be notoriously looked at as the greatest rapper of all time. I think history will say Jay's the best rapper of all time. Now, let's swing over to Queen B. Now, I'm no Beyonce fan. Not like that. I'm not part of the Beehive. You know, I listen to the records that hit the radio like you guys. I don't go back and play Lemonade or a lot of her catalog. I listen to this stuff that hits mainstream. Except that Irreplaceable that you must not know about. That shit slap. Like, I play that bad boy. But other than that, I'm not a big Beyonce fan. The point I'm trying to make, to see Beyonce live, because that tour, you know, as much as I just praised JayZ, at the end of the day, that tour wasn't about JayZ. That tour was about Beyonce. You know, I would say 85 to 90% of that crowd was Beyonce driven. And again, Hov's one of the most successful rappers, probably the most successful rapper of all time. But all due respect to Jay, he had his moment with 444. That tour was about Beyonce, you know, and maybe they split the time down the middle, right? Because Jay was on stage a lot. But in regards to just the delicacies, performing, I've never even heard this record before. It was a Resentment record that Beyonce performed. She performed it sitting down. I was told after the show that apparently this was the song that she created after she found out JayZ had cheated on her. And she does that one sitting down, and you can still see the passion on her face. Either she's a phenomenal actor or she done been through some ish with her husband, JayZ. She performs that record by herself, sitting down in front of the audience. To see her be able to not only perform records like that, slow records, lyrical-based records, but then be able to turn it up 5 minutes later, tell the women to get in formation, and perform a record. I don't care how many times she done went over the routine. I don't care if we've seen it before. To be able to sing and dance at the level that Beyonce does, man, it is something special to see live. And I'm somebody who I had already shifted and started to say Bruno Mars was a better entertainer, a better performer, live performer than Beyonce. I had Bruno 1 and I had Beyonce 2. I'm flip-flopping that again. Beyonce is the best live performer there is alive. And I want to believe, and I'm going to get a little bit of criticism for this, and all I can see is YouTube videos on Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, I was not of age to see a really, really, really good Michael Jackson show in his prime. I didn't see Mike. I hear nothing but phenomenal things about Mike. I try to watch YouTube videos and get into it like I was there. It doesn't work, you know? And from what I've seen, I find it hard to believe, and I'm gonna get some criticism for this, I find it hard to believe Michael Jackson brought as many elements to the table as Beyonce. Now, I know, I got some Mike fans that subscribe to my platform. Don't unsubscribe. It's just a video, it's a debate. But I'm telling you guys, man, if you just consider all the elements of what she's doing, even now bringing some hip-hop elements. Yo, Beyonce on stage spitting some bars, bruh. She spit some bars too, you know, and just the intricacies of how long she's on stage, the amount of dancers that she used, how in sync she has to be with these dancers, everything, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it is a sight to see. JayZ in concert, and he's 48, still doing it at an elite level. You know, rapper hands still look like rapper hands, doesn't look like he's tired, right? And they go pretty much 2 hours straight, back and forth, and a lot of it together, you know. And in regards to Beyonce, just to see Queen Bee and finally understand it. Yo, there were people next to me crying, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Mr. TALIAFERRO wasn't crying. I wasn't crying. All right, but to just put in perspective, to bring that type of passion out, I heard Michael Jackson did it. Obviously, I heard Prince did it. I wasn't around to see either of those two do it. I heard other people did it as well. Luther Vandross, some of these other big-time acts could do it as well. But I saw that with my own 2 eyes in her prime, which I believe Beyonce is in right now. And man, it is a sight to see. So if somebody wants to tell me that Beyonce is the greatest performer of all time, I won't refute that. And if somebody tells me JayZ is the greatest rapper of all time, I won't refute that. Maybe one day down the line I can make an argument for someone else. But right now, I can't refute either of those claims, because I was able to see it in person and get it and understand, yo, to see these two even be able to do a tour like that, we're never going to see something like that happen again. I was talking to somebody yesterday about it. I was like, yo, unless Drake and Rihanna get together somewhere down the line, there's not a combination of two people that you could put together with the amount of star power, hit records, talent. You can't put together a combination unless Drake and Rihanna decide to get together and do a tour together. And I believe the only way they could ever do a tour together, because it doesn't make sense financially for them to do a tour together, they make more money independently. I believe the only way you do a tour like that is if they're together, right? Jay couldn't convince a Beyonce to do that tour if that wasn't his wife. That makes sense for Beyonce financially. She can make more money on the road by herself. She ain't got to split nothing. She can sell out every spot by every stadium by herself. She already did it, right? So in regards to J and B, unless Rihanna and Drake's gonna go on tour somewhere down the line, get together and go on tour, I don't believe we see what we saw. I don't do a lot of concerts, y'all. I do clubs. I got my life. I've covered over 100 clubs in my young life. I don't really do concerts like that because I'm cheap and I can't get media access to concerts. I ain't at that point in my career. But I paid that ticket for that bad boy, you know. And to see that live, I paid that. One reason why I didn't mind paying that ticket because I'm not 100% sure if we're gonna ever see that again. Those two doing what they're doing, you know, and truly a sight to see. Real quick, I think that's why you see guys like Drake having to go get a Migos or a Future on a tour, and you see guys like a Bruno Mars have to go get a Cardi B. You see Nicki have to go get a Future, and you see Nicki have to kind of recalculate her tour. You see J. Cole have to get a Young Thug. It's tough to just try to do arenas and or stadiums, right? It's tough to do these venues now with just one act. Because it's always tough, right, to get 15, 20,000 people to be on one accord for anything. But I think what Jay and Beyonce have made it tougher for just the average the big time artist that's probably pop as well. They made it tough because they're telling you now essentially maybe a little more, but pretty much for the price of one artist, we're giving you two top of the line artists. You know, and we're giving you two legends. So that's why you see certain people struggling to sell tickets and certain people having to up the ante and go get another top of the line act because that pressure J and B didn't put on people with their second edition of the On the Run tour. Those are my takeaways from the tour. Y'all entitled if you've been on the tour, if you watch it on YouTube, whatever. If you know, you tell me what you think about it and some of the proclamations that I've said in this video. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment box below. Thank y'all for the time, love, and support. I don't take it for granted, man. Beyonce and JayZ, all due respect, I had to see that live to get it. Two of the greatest we've ever seen in our culture. What up, Pharaohs? I decided to step my game up again. I've created a music reaction Instagram page. That way, you guys can be up to date on some of the latest new music in the atmosphere, and you guys can also send me some of your music as well, and you will get Mr. TALIAFERRO'S first reaction to your record for good or for bad, or an artist that we talk about on my platform's music for good or for bad. Again, follow me on Instagram, Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Again, that's Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, and you get more of yours truly.